Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're a parent or a caregiver, you already know this exact feeling. You walk into the baby food aisle at the grocery store, and wow, it is just completely overwhelming. You're hit with this massive wall of colorful pouches, tiny glass jars, and bold marketing claims, all just totally vying for your attention. It feels like you're faced with a seemingly impossible choice, right? One that carries the weight of the world. But hey, instead of panicking, let's take a breath. Look at what the actual research says and figure out what's really going on inside those little jars. Because honestly, it all boils down to this one massive question that seems to cause, well, an endless amount of parental guilt. Organic or conventional? Which is actually best? It's a debate that's happening right now in parenting groups, pediatricians' offices, and living rooms across the US and Canada. So to really figure this out, we need to strip away the emotion, ignore the marketing hype for a second, and look directly at what the nutritional science and agricultural standards actually tell us. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover why baby nutrition matters. Then, organic versus conventional. Third, the nutritional reality. Fourth, budget-friendly feeding strategies. And finally, number 5, the homemade alternative. So, kicking things off with section 1, why baby nutrition matters. Look, it is completely natural to feel stressed about these food choices, mostly because the stakes just feel incredibly high. I mean, every single spoonful counts right now. Babies need protein to fuel that crazy rapid overnight growth, and healthy fats, those are absolutely crucial for their developing brains. Then you add in vitamins and minerals to build an immune system that's tough enough to fight off those, inevitable daycare bugs, and you are literally laying the foundation for lifelong wellness. A balanced diet establishes healthy eating habits that can last a lifetime, which is exactly why we care so much about what goes into the shopping cart. Moving right along to section 2, organic versus conventional. To make an informed choice here, let's look at what these labels actually mean under strict US and Canadian food safety regulations. And this brilliantly illustrates the differences. When a baby food is certified organic, the ingredients are produced under specific standards that generally avoid most synthetic pesticides, artificial fertilizers, and GMOs. Basically, the manufacturers have to pass strict certification requirements from the farm all the way to the packaging. On the flip side, you have conventional foods, which are produced using standard agricultural and food manufacturing methods. But here is what is absolutely vital to understand. Conventional foods are still highly regulated and intensely monitored for safety and nutritional quality. Plus, conventional foods offer immense convenience, incredibly broad availability, and, very importantly, affordability. A lot of parents lean organic for the farming standards, while others choose conventional for its safe, accessible practicality. Both are entirely valid approaches. All right, section 3, the nutritional reality. Now, if you've been carrying around any stress about whether you're doing the right thing for your baby's health, well, prepare for a massive moment of relief. We really need to confront a huge misconception head-on. This assumption that if a food has the organic label, it's automatically and significantly more nutritious for your child. It's totally false. But this myth is exactly what makes us hesitate in the aisle and wonder if we're somehow shortchanging our kids by looking at the price tags. But here is the relieving reality taken directly from the source material. Quote, both organic and conventional baby foods can provide important nutrients. I want you to really let that sink in for a second. Whether the carrots were grown conventionally or organically, both options are perfectly capable of delivering the crucial vitamins, minerals, and energy that support infant development. A balanced diet overall remains far, far more important than whether every single ingredient in a little pouch is certified organic. So how should we actually be shopping? The secret isn't the flashy label on the front. It's the ingredient list on the back. We should focus on ingredient quality and variety, rather than just blindly trusting the organic stamp. Focus on finding age-appropriate textures instead of, overpaying for fancy brand names. And most importantly, focus on ensuring there are limited added sugars and sodium, instead of simply assuming that conventional food is somehow unsafe. Yes, organic foods often feature shorter, simpler ingredient lists, but conventional foods can contain those exact same simple ingredients too.
This brings us to section 4, budget-friendly feeding strategies.
We absolutely have to acknowledge a very real challenge for a lot of families here, and that is cost. Organic baby food is often noticeably more expensive than conventional alternatives. But listen, you do not have to sacrifice nutrition to stay on budget. Try buying larger packs to get a better price per ounce, or grab store-brand products. They undergo the exact same strict safety monitoring but cost a fraction of the name brands. And here's a really great secret. You can mix them. You don't have to be an all-or-nothing household. If organic is important to you, prioritize buying organic for the absolute favorite foods your baby eats constantly, and just use conventional for the rest. Establishing healthy feeding habits absolutely does not require buying every single item organic. And finally, Section 5, the homemade alternative. For parents who want the ultimate level of flexibility, maximum freshness, and total control over exactly what goes into their baby's mouth, making food at home is incredibly popular. And honestly, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just look at staples like apples, bananas, sweet potatoes, carrots, and avocados. They're incredibly easy to mash, steam, or puree right in your own kitchen, even if, let's be real, half of it ends up on the floor anyway. Preparing food at home allows you to seamlessly introduce fresh, diverse flavors and interesting textures, and you can source these ingredients locally based entirely on what looks best and fits your budget that week. So, to wrap up everything we've looked at today in this explainer, whether you choose mostly organic, mostly conventional, or a combination of both store-bought and homemade, the nutritional facts remain exactly the same. The most important factors are offering a variety of nutrient-rich foods, following age-appropriate guidelines, and creating a positive, low-stress mealtime experience. Because at the end of the day, healthy babies thrive on balanced nutrition, love, and consistent care. So I'll leave you with this question to consider the next time you're standing in that overwhelming aisle. Which combination of organic, conventional, or homemade fits your family's unique lifestyle best? Ditch the guilt, read those ingredient lists, and confidently build a feeding strategy that works perfectly for your own household. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and